So I've had a few people ask me over the years I've been here on YouTube, what's your favourite type of video to film? And today we're filming it. I love doing my top albums of the year, and today this is the best year for me because it's the biggest amount of albums I've managed to accumulate in a year, and it's a solid 20. I managed to get 20 albums this year, which is a record for me. So we're going to be going over all of those 20 albums I've got this year, from least to best.
It's a national crisis. Your dependence on vices. I'm amazed at your resilience.
So hello and yes, welcome back to another video, guys. Now as I say, it's a big video for me today. It's a very exciting one. We're going to be going over my top 20 albums of the year. These are the 20 albums which I picked up this year. These are the 20 albums which have intrigued me, where I've actually picked them up, bought them. And yeah, we're going to be ranking them from least to best. So yeah, that's the premise of the video. But before we get started, I want to say a few things. I hope you all had a great Christmas. Thank you so much for the Christmas messages I got from people on my last video, and a couple private messages here on YouTube. So thank you so much, guys, for all the Christmas messages. It really does mean a lot to me, and I really hope you guys had a great Christmas as well. And also, I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year, because this will be the last video of 2017. Oh my god, 2018 has already snuck up on us, and it's already here. But a quick recap on 2017, it's been a fantastic year, not only for me and this channel's done a lot. It's once again grown to reach places which I never thought it would. I've met some brilliant new people here on YouTube, got some fantastic friends here, but it's been a great year for the music industry. If you saw my last video, not only in terms of studio albums, live album, compilations, studio albums of course, soundtracks, there's been so many awesome vinyl releases this year, reissues as well. And in terms of everything else I like as well, like TV series, it's been a great year for TV series. Another season of Game of Thrones, another season of Stranger Things for all the Stranger Things fans. There's been some brilliant new series like The Punisher, Big Little Lies, and of course for me, I've discovered one of my favourite TV shows ever this year. That is Peaky Blinders, which has become one of my all-time favourites. Westworld, of course. And in terms of movies, it's been a great year for movies. It's been the year where I've gone to the cinema the most, see a load of films. I went to see The Greatest Showman last night, the new Hugh Jackman musical. It was fantastic. Highly recommend it. Of course, we got another fantastic Star Wars film, The Last Jedi. It was brilliant, loved it. Yeah, there's been so many awesome films this year as well. It's hard to talk about them all, but there's been a lot of fantastic films this year, which I've enjoyed a lot. So it has been a fantastic year. So 2017, I salute you. But of course, it has not been the best year in terms of losses. The curse of 2016 did carry on a bit into 2017, and we still witnessed a few big losses. And yeah, I don't want to go over all the names that, of all the people who passed away this year, or else we'll be here for ages. But I do want to say Tom Petty was the one which really got me. I still miss him. That was a big blow for me, guys. It's the biggest music death which I've experienced ever since I've been into music. It was a very sad one because I've been a big fan of his long before he died. I've been a big fan of his for about 3-4 years now, and I'm lucky enough to have all of his stuff on vinyl, and when he passed, it really just got me a bit. So yeah, Tom Petty, that was the biggie for me. But anyway, let's look on the positives now. We have 20 albums here to go over today, so let's get started with number 20. So coming in at number 20, this is a record which maybe cheating, I don't know. It is all original material. I see that my good friend here, Ross Goodall, who has also done a ranking, did put this in his list. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to chuck it in there so I can get to the magic 20. And that is the original soundtrack to Jawbone. This is all original music from Mr. Paul Weller. This was one of 3 releases he put out this year, among an album which he done with a band, which I didn't pick up, but I know Ross did, so if you want to see it, go over to his video. And of course, his actual solo album, which will be appearing in this list somewhere. But yeah, I put this at the back purely because there's only one song on here which I'll really go back to, and I think it's Bottle. I think that's it. It's a nice little acoustic-y number on the second side. There's no bad music on here. There's really not, but it's one of them albums which I kind of play once and then I don't really have any interest in going back to. But yeah, it's a good effort. It's a good album. It's a very nice piece. So yeah, there's nothing bad about that one really. But I just kind of chucked it in at the end there to get to number 20. Number 19 is of course the studio album from Bob Dylan. This is Triplicate. So yeah, I was very excited to get this one because the packaging looked awesome. 3 sides of music, a lot of music on here in case you guys can't tell. So for it to hit number 19 with this much music on is not very good, really, dare I say it. And I'm sorry to the Bob Dylan fans, but at this point I am a bit tired of the American, I'm trying to think of what the word is, American songbook stuff. This is his third album now, Triplicate, hence triple, and also triple vinyl. So it's a good title for this album, to be fair. But yeah, the Shadows in the Night one was good. I enjoyed that. The Fallen Angels one was awful. This is an improvement over Fallen Angels, I think. And it's nice in a way because there's some songs which I'm more familiar with on here, like Stormy Weather, Sentimental Journey, Day In, Day Out, How Deep Is the Ocean, you know. There's some stuff on here which I'm more familiar with than the last album. But it is a bit of a drag. It's not the most exciting album. And the reason I go to Bob Dylan is for lyrics, not for his vocals. Coming in at number 18 is an album called, this is Volcano by Temples. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this one. It was very overproduced and every song kind of sounded the same. It was a typical kind of modern, trying to be original type album. And I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. It wasn't bad, but it was very overproduced. And by the end of this album, I was very, very pleased it was over. I'll say that. So yeah, Temples there coming in at number 18. Coming in at number 17. One which a lot of people have been talking about this year. One which I've talked about a lot this year. I've even done a full-blown review on this one. It is Ringo Starr. This is Give More Love. This is the latest album from Ringo Starr, of course. It is a big improvement over his last album, Postcards from Paradise. However, this is not one of Ringo's best albums. It is not one of Ringo's worst albums. It's a very middle-of-the-road Ringo album. It got an 5 point something in my ranking. I think it got a 5.9. So we'll round that up and just say it got a 6 out of 10. I say anything above a 5 is positive. So yeah, there we go. It's not a bad album. It's a decent one. The A side's pretty good, and then the B side kind of falls short a bit. But yeah, there we go. Ringo Starr coming in at number 17. That's not bad. That's not bad for Ringo. Coming in at number 16 is an album which I actually looked over. I didn't get this one on release date, and then I had to go back and buy it because I was like, oh, I like the last album a lot, so I've got to have it. I liked his last album a lot. This one, not so much. This is the latest Steve Hackett album. And this is The Night Siren. His last album, The Wolf Fight, which was a lot better. I got that one on release date. I got the blue vinyl edition signed. This one, I missed that, so it is just the regular black vinyl. You know, it's funny. This album opened up so well with Behind the Smoke. And then it went into a kind of crappy song. Then it go back into another good song. And you'd have a crap one. Good, crap, good, crap. I feel like this album, if you cut it in half, took the crap ones out, this album would have done a lot better in this ranking because there are some real gems on this album. But then those real gems are let down by some real duds. It's a very, very strange album. But I do like it. It's a nice cover. Yeah, still pleased I went back and picked it up. But yeah, Steve Hackett, The Night Siren. So what number is this? This is going to be number 15 here. I have put little slips on here to remind me of what number they are. But they keep falling all over the place. Coming in at number 15 is this is Silver Eye by Goldfrapp. There was a lot of talk about this album when it came out. I originally wasn't going to get it, and my very good friend vinyl collector James, who I'm going to put a link in the description to his channel, as well as Ross's, because they've both got rankings, and you guys should both check their rankings out as well. Ross's will be somewhat similar to mine. I've seen it. I mean, like similar taste in music, not similar albums. But James, if you want to get some really good ideas on where this music's gone, go check out his one, because he knows what he's on about, to say the least. But yeah, anyway, Goldfrapp, yeah, he sent me this one. Very kind of him. Thank you again for that, my friend. And yeah, I quite enjoyed it. This is the first album in this list where things start to get a bit more solid, where I actually enjoy the whole album. It was good, a bit overproduced again, a bit similar sounding, but the opening song was amazing. And yeah, it's a good album. Good album. Not great though, in my opinion, but it's a decent one. Coming in at number 14 is an almost entirely instrumental album, but I absolutely loved it. And it is the only time we're going to hear in this video my modern day musician hero, Joe Bonamassa. And that is Rock Candy Funk Party. So Joe Bonamassa has put out a few albums. You know, he done his solo one last year, which was my #1 album of the year last year, and it still would be. Blues Desperation. This year he done an album with his Black Country Communion band, which I didn't get because I'm not a fan of the singer, and I don't have any of their other albums. But I do have the other two Rock Candy Funk Party albums, which Joe is a part of. It's an entirely instrumental band. I really enjoyed the other two albums, but I didn't love them. This one I really did enjoy. I feel like if there were vocals, it actually would be higher. But that would take away from the concept. There is vocals on one song, I Got a Feeling. Well, I Got the Feeling, sorry. But yeah, it's a really good album. It's a very fun, energetic. It's a nice background album. I enjoy it a lot. And yeah, we'll see Joe Bonamassa in 2018, because he's already announced an album with Beth Hart coming out in January. So we will be seeing Joe again next year. Will he be able to regain that #1 spot next year? We'll have to wait and see. I'm kind of doubtful with Beth Hart. As much as I like her, I like his solo stuff. Coming in at number 13 is one which all of my mates, my friends that you sometimes see here on the channel, Robert and Ryan, this would be their #1 album because they absolutely love this band. In fact, I believe they're both going to see this band live next year. I didn't get an invite. What's up with that? Imagine Dragons. This is their new album, Evolve. Their weakest album yet for me. Sorry guys, I was not a big fan of this album. It was good. I mean it's got to number 12. Oh, 13, sorry. It's got to number 13. Purely because of the singles though. Believer is a fantastic single. My favourite song on the album. Rise Up is also very good. Thunder, I really like that one. I know it's kind of an annoying song. But then, to be honest, the album is decent. It's just the first 2 tracks. I don't know why. And Whatever It Takes, I just purely hate. It's a horrible song in my opinion. But other than that, it's not a bad album. It's okay. It's decent. Yeah. Their weakest album yet, though, in my opinion. Number 12 is an album which is called quite a bit of controversy here in the VC and Beatles world, because people were expecting it to be a George Harrison album, and it wasn't. He went in his own direction, which personally I was pleased about. Not quite the direction I was personally hoping for, but anyway, it's here. It's the debut for Danny Harrison, and it's in Parallel. Number 12, it's a good album. I enjoy it. I've played it twice now. Both times I play it, it captures my attention because there's so much going on. There's so many influences, and you know, I hate to fall into the category of I want another George Harrison album, because that's not what I want. I want Danny to do his own thing. But it is nice to hear some new vocals from, you know, obviously it isn't George, but it really sounds like George. He does sound so much like his dad, and it is really nice to get some new vocals for that. But yeah, I did enjoy this album for what it was. I really enjoy it. I hope Danny comes back with another album soon, because I really enjoyed this one. And yeah, number 12. Good spot for a debut. Number 11, an album which was a little bit disappointing for me. I mean, it's not done too bad. It's here sitting at number 11, so it's not that bad, but it is U2's new album. This is Songs of Experience. I absolutely loved U2's last album from 2014, I believe. So yeah, this one was disappointing compared to that. Last album was definitely better, no doubt. This album here I just found a bit flat and boring. I really like the single, You're the Best Thing About Me, which is strange for U2, because they have a habit of picking the worst singles. Yeah, the second record was better than the first, that's for sure. But yeah, it was a pretty blah, kind of dull, boring album. But it was good for what it was, you know. It's got to number 11, so it hasn't done too bad. But just very disappointing compared to their last album, is the point I'm trying to make. Coming in at number 10 is another album I found myself disappointed in. But, again, I did enjoy it. It's number 10. And that is Lindsey Buckingham and Christine McVie. This is their first album, just them two together. It's really Fleetwood Mac, because they're all there, but Stevie Nicks. I think the album does suffer a bit from that, maybe. But I also feel like Lindsey Buckingham's being really laid back on this album. And his last album was 100 times better, really. His Seeds We Sow. A lot more ballsy, a lot better lyrically, and a lot better in the guitar playing. His songs on this album nowhere near as good. And Christine McVie does a very good job, but she has a couple very weak tracks on here for me. Game of Pretend, I think it is, where she does a really slow ballad type song, and I just really can't get into that. Overall, though, it's good. I love hearing them two sing, even though they don't sing together much on here. It's very much they do their own song. They take it in turns. So it is an enjoyable album. I do enjoy it when I put it on. It's just I wanted this album to be so much more. But anyway, it is enjoyable. It's, you know, it's got number 10. Coming in at number 9 is... There we go. Stick down. Blake Sleep's coming up. Around 6, 7, 8, yeah, 9. Okay, cool. I was getting lost there. I thought maybe I missed something. So coming in at number 9 is Foo Fighters. This is Concrete and Gold. An album which I was excited for because, again, absolutely loved the single Disguise a Neighborhood. I also really like the song T-Shirt, Run, Dirty Water, Sunday Rain. Good song. Yeah, it's great to hear Dave Grohl back doing some cool stuff. I like Dave Grohl, he's good. And the music videos of this album are really good. It's an enjoyable album. I like it. And number 8, this is the last album where I'm going to use the word disappointing because, again, it's not massively disappointing because it's hit number 8 in a ranking of 20. So it's done pretty well, this album. But with this guy, I absolutely love his last 2 albums. His last 2 albums, to me, are near perfection. And this one's not. This one kind of fell through a bit. But nonetheless, I like it a lot, this album. It's hit number 8. This album and everything onwards, I play a lot. So these top 8 albums are the ones which I'd go recommending to people. And it is Noel Gallagher who built the moon. Absolutely love Noel Gallagher. He is my favourite of the Gallagher brothers. His first 2 solo albums, the self-titled, well, High Flying Birds, and of course Chasing Yesterday, are absolute gold albums. This one, not quite as much. Lyrically, not as good. Produced, it's a bit overproduced. There's a couple songs on here which are completely unnecessary. Wednesday Part 1. Wednesday Part 2. However, the single for this album, Holy Mountain, is fantastic. Fort Knox is brilliant as well. So there's some really good stuff on here. It is a good album. I enjoy it a lot, but I expected more from Noel because he's been pretty much perfection with his first 2 albums, and can't say that anymore, unfortunately, I don't think. But it's a good album. It is a good album. I want to stress that enough, that I do enjoy it a lot. Coming in at number 7 is... This album was sitting at my number 1 spot. No, it was sitting at my number 2 spot for ages. And then all these other albums come out in the second half of the year. And it's worked its way all the way back to number 7. But anyway, nonetheless, I still like this album a lot. It is Blondie, Pollinator. Yeah, great album. Really good. Debbie Harry is on form on this album. It's a really fun album. I really like this album because I got into Blondie heavily just before this came out. And I got their last album, Ghosted Download, and I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Apologies to people who like that album. Just me, I don't like it at all. So I was very worried for this album, but it came out. I really enjoyed it. I love the songs on here. The single Fun is great. Do More Destiny is a lot of fun. My Monster is really good. Love Level is really good. Too Much is also really good. It's a really entertaining album. It's a really fun album. You put it on and you're going to have a great time with it. It's just really fun, really basic. It's classic Blondie mixed with a modern production, and it works well. So yeah, Blondie, Pollinator, number 7. Number 6, here we go. This is an album which some people love, some people don't really like. For me, I'm in the middle. I like it a lot, but I don't love it. Number 6, just missing out in the top 5, is Liam Gallagher, As You Were. Now, when I first got this album, I was very underwhelmed. I was like, but the more you play this one, the more you like it, I find. It has my favourite single of the year on this album, Wall of Glass, followed by my second favourite single this year, For What It's Worth. The 2 singles for this album, guys, are fantastic. He chose very wisely on his singles because they're easily the best songs on this album as well. The A-side for this album is great. The B-side is a grower. It gets better the more you listen to it. The B-side still isn't great, which is why this album didn't crack my top 5. But it's a good album. And it's very rare that I'll say I prefer a Liam album over a Noel one. But in this year, I do prefer the Liam album. So yeah, As You Were, Liam Gallagher, number 6 out of 20. It's a good album. Pick it up. Coming in at number 5 is a brand new band for me. I had never heard this band. This might even be their debut. I don't know. I haven't even looked into this band. But I absolutely love this album by them. So many people were telling me to get it, to pick it up. and it was a birthday present from, again, Vinyl Collector James. He treated me to this one for my birthday. It was very kind of him. And here it is. This is Spitting Image by The Stripes. Now, I know that another good friend of mine here in the VC, Ben Simpson, this is one of your favourite albums this year. It is a really good album. It's a cracking album from start to finish. You're having a fantastic time with it. It flows well. Every song is catchy. Every song is good. There is not a weak moment on this album. That is the good thing about my top 5 here, I'd say. Out of all of these top 5 albums, there are no weak songs. That's why these top 5 albums are in my top 5. This album flows perfectly. My favourite song is actually the opening track, probably, Behind Closed Doors. I really like that song. Garden of Eden is also fantastic. It doesn't have any particular standout tracks, is my only fault with this album. And maybe it does get a bit too repetitive for some people. But I really enjoy it. It's a good album. Number 5. Coming in at number 4. This is the album I might look back on and regret putting so high, because it is a somewhat Christmas themed album. It's a wintertime album. And I've mentioned it a lot over the last month or two on my channel. So I'm sure you all know what it is now. That is Tom Chaplin. And this is the 12 Tales of Christmas. It's not really a Christmas album. He covers a couple songs on here, like Walking in the Air, which is not a Christmas song, it's a winter song. 2,000 Miles, which is also not a Christmas song, it's a winter song. So, Stay Another Day, again, I'd say that's more of a winter feel song again. Even though it's got Christmas in the title, it's really just a winter feel album, and I love it. It's got beautiful vocals on it. It's a beautiful sounding record. It's produced so well. Tom Chaplin is on form. He also even went and liked my tweet when I said, love your new album, so I respect that. I've just had the best time with this album over the last few months, and I couldn't knock it just because it was a winter feel album, because I've really fallen in love with it. Number 4. Number 3, this is the album which was sitting at number 1 for about 6-7 months, and I was thinking, oh my god, this album's going to go all the way from the start of 2017 all the way to the end of 2017 being number 1. But anyway, it got knocked off its podium a little bit. But number 3 is still a good spot. 4, of course, Paul Weller, A Kind of Revolution. This was a fantastic album. Absolutely brilliant. I'm not one of the die-hard Paul Weller fans out there. I just really like him, and I think he's a very talented, very brilliant musician. And yeah, when I got this album, I wasn't that excited when it came out. I'm not going to lie, it kind of come out. And I was like, oh yeah, I like the jam. I like what I've heard of Paul Weller so far, so I'll get it. Got it, played it, absolutely loved it. Haven't stopped loving it. It's a fantastic album. Great album. Great sounds all round. Fantastic. Dabby dozy. 2 to go. Now these 2 albums, I've been switching these 2 around a lot. Which one is going to be number 1? I love these 2 albums to bits. This is the order I've gone with. Number 2 is going to The Lone Bellow, Walk Into a Storm. The Lone Bellow came second for me again in 2015 in my ranking, but really looking back at it, they should have been number 1 with their album Then Came the Morning. I put Jeff Lindsay Alone in the Universe above it. But I was so biased at the time because it was like, oh my god, Yellow's back. Whereas, you know, I really think that they probably deserved that number 1 spot more. So looking back at it. But anyway, this is an improvement over that last album, and that last album was fantastic. Walk Into a Storm is fantastic. It's a very fun, upbeat album at times, but then it gets very serious at other times, like the title track. My favourite track on here is Feather, where they let the female member of the band sing. I forget her name, but she gets her first proper go at lead vocals, and it is fantastic. She should definitely be getting more tracks on the next album. I just love this album. It's fantastic. Very, very cool album. Love it. Number 1. Oh, absolutely adore this album. This was fantastic. Robert Plant. This is Carry Fire. I mean, just look at how cool the cover is alone. It's probably would get my favourite album cover of the year as well. Oh man, I can't express to you guys how much I love Robert Plant today. Now, if you're not a Led Zeppelin fan, you should still check these albums out. They sound nothing like Led Zeppelin. I admire Robert Plant more than any other musician from the 60s, 70s, and 80s because he has adapted to what he knows is best for him. This country rock vibe that he's kind of created, it's very unique, very original, suits his voice so well. He has mastered it. If anyone else tries to take on this style as much as he has, they won't do it as good as him. It is suited so much to his voice, to his profession. He's mastered it in the sense of the way the instruments are played, in the way the record is produced, in the way he sings it, in the way these songs are written. It is pure genius. It is his own style. It is unique. And this is his third album now like it. We had Band of Joy, we had Lullaby and the Ceaseless Roar, and now this one. Of course, all of them following the magnificent album he did with Alison Krauss, Raising Sand. I would say out of the three, this is my second favourite out of Band of Joy, Lullaby and the Ceaseless Roar, and Carry Fire. Lullaby and the Ceaseless Roar from 2014 is probably still my favourite of the three. But I prefer this over Band of Joy, and this is very close to Lullaby and the Ceaseless Roar. My favourite track is the single, the opening track, The Maid Queen. It is fantastic. The title track is fantastic as well. Bluebirds Over the Mountain is fantastic. This album is... it's fantastic. It is fantastic. And anyone who hasn't given this a chance, you need to go give it a chance. Because I know some people will probably look at it and be like, oh, it's just the lead singer from Led Zeppelin. Prepare to be proven wrong if you go check it out, because it's very unique. It's its own thing. It's fantastic. But anyway, there we go. There's my 20 albums I bought this year, ranked from worst to best. There have been some fantastic albums this year. I'd recommend the top 5 albums there to anyone because I love every song on all of them top 5 albums. Them top 5 albums for me are pure gold. So yeah, I'd recommend them hands down to people. But yeah, it's been a fantastic year for music. It's been a fantastic year here on this channel. I want to thank every single one of you who's come by to my channel and supported it over this year. It's been a great year, and I look forward to spending 2018 with you guys as well. Should have another video up very early on in 2018 in the next week. And yeah, that's it for 2017. Wow, it's gone quick. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave you a message, and 2017, we'll see you later.
Ooh, sweet salvation now.